Welcome back to 383 two-barrel racing for the No Name Nationals. This is part 2 of update 5. We're going to dive right back into that data sheet and we're going to find out exactly what my car is supposed to have according to that broadcast sheet. Let's go. Moving on to the rest of the VIN, we see that the letter G tells us what kind of engine we're supposed to have, and most of you look it up on the web can tell that it's supposed to be a 383. It doesn't tell you which one you're going to get, 2-barrel or 4-barrel, but we know that it's supposed to be a 383. And an interesting thing was in 1978, I went looking at a 300, and the gentleman was trying to tell me of an urban legend that Chrysler ran out of 383s at some point and put in 413s. Well, I didn't believe him because I couldn't prove it by looking at the block. But sure enough, years later, as I picked up a 66 Chrysler service manual there, in arrow number 1, you see G supposed to be 413. And if you look off to the left, figure 3 shows arrow 3 pointing to 413 on the top of the block. The number 4 is just the radiator hose. And number 2 is 3 for the Jefferson plant. And that's going to come down the list of your VIN number there. But I didn't believe him, and in 1965 they printed this manual before the cars were being shipped and built. One has to wonder why they would let this out of the factory. But as far as I don't know of any 413s running around in 66 Chryslers. So we'll see what happens if somebody comes up with one. Let me know. As a matter of fact, you can go to the parts manual, which is always a good thing to have on hand. The parts manual that I have was dated in March of 1967, which is a considerable amount of time after the cars were built for 66, considering they stopped building the cars. They stopped building them in August, or July and August. So we don't know why this got out to the dealers. I'm sure someone made a mistake. There it is, March 1967. And if you go into the parts manual, it also gives you the breakdown of your vehicle identification numbers. And this particular manual has the correct information. G stands for 383. So we know that that's right. And in the next section of the broadcast sheet, following the engine size, you'll see the year of the car. Unless the last digit of the year, that would be a 6. And the next digit, again, is back to the plant. It says plant number 3. And plant number 3 being the Jefferson Avenue plant. Long time. I don't know if that plant is still in existence. I think they closed that plant. But they made cars there for a very long time. And here again in the code sheet, you can see that they had 3 plants in Detroit, and number 3 was the Jefferson Avenue plant. Gosh, they had, and then the one in St. Louis is infamous for you B-body folks. I'm sure you know that history. I just wanted to flash that back up there again so you can see arrow number 2 pointing to the number 3, Jefferson plant. And obviously they had one for export, and they had one in Newark. I think that was Newark, Delaware. I blacked out the sequence number for the car just so no one needs to know the sequence number of my car. The CC1 would be the color, the exterior color of the car, and you'll be able to see an interior pick down to the left. The next line down to the left, it'll say trim. It says L1D. And together with that information of CC1 and L1D, you knew the car was going to have a blue interior. So number 1 arrow says Newport. The model will be a 4-door. And you'll have the powder blue. You can see it on arrow number 3 and number 4, CC1. And look down the solid code colors. Here you see it's blue, L1D. Arrow number 5 is pointing to L1D. So you're going to have a powder blue car with a blue interior of that particular level. And you have to remember that it's a low price level. The CL part of your VIN tells you it's a Chrysler with a low price level. And I'm not sure, but I think they said that there were over 700 different combinations that you could have in any given Chrysler for 1966 for any kind of interior and exterior combinations. It's quite incredible, and it would be very difficult for someone to probably find two identical cars this late in the game. I've never seen two identical 66 Chrysler Newports. I think that about covers it for this amount of information.
I hope you enjoyed part 2. Now there's going to be a part 3. I don't want to stretch these out too far, but giving you enough time to take a look at that broadcast sheet and the data sheet from the factory and comparing it to what we have on the window stickers is very important. So stay tuned. Please like and subscribe to my channel so we can keep this going. Take care.